close our session. Yes. Yes, Ahmed, you want to say something? Ahmed Alawi, I believe. My number? Okay, what I will do, I will add you all in a Kaizala group. I'll form a Kaizala group with all of you. Okay, and I will add you in that group. It's an application similar to WhatsApp. So I'll do that thing also. But I will send you the details in email because I have to look for it. Okay, I have to form a group and send a separate email for link for that. So you can, in the meantime, you can download it in your mobile. I'll just type the name Kaizala. Just download and install it in your mobile, on your mobiles. Then I will inform you how to join it in a group in this one. Okay, that I will communicate by email. Okay, later this week. So for today, let's first begin with the class. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you all. So just let me know if the screen is visible.
Yeah, miss.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. So now let's go to quantitative methods. So for this week, as we have seen last week, what we were having, we studied about the linear programming problem and how to formulate it, means how to form a, means convert a real time situation into the form of mathematical equation. So for this week, as I explained during last week, we have to discuss the various methods to solve the linear programming problem that we had formulated. So I hope you've gone through it, these definitions. So let's quickly review it. So how do we say that a particular value is a solution of the linear programming problems? I'll just give you an example. Suppose we have a linear programming problem. Say maximize, this is week 3. Maximize z is equal to x1 plus 2x2 subject to, say, x1 plus 2x2 less than equal to 3, x1 minus x2 less than equal to 5. Okay, with x1 x2 greater than equal to 0. We will say that the value, what do we mean by solution? Solution of LPP. So how it is defined? It is defined as any set of values of the decision variables that satisfy the constraints of LPP. So it means now in this one we have two constraints, 1 and 2. So what will be the solution? Any value of x1 and x2, because the variables are here x1, x2. These are nothing but your variables. So it says that the value of these variables x1, x2 which satisfy both the constraints 1 and 2. So that value of x1, x2 will be the solution of this LPP. For example, if I say x1 is equal to 4 and x2 is equal to say 1. Okay, then let's substitute it here in 1 to check whether x1 equal to 4 and x2 equal to 1 is a solution of this LPP or not. So what we will do, we will substitute x1 equal to 4 and x2 equal to 1 in this equation 1 and 2. So what 1 will imply? x1 is 4 plus 2 times 1. So what it will give you? 6. Is it less than 3? No. This is not true, right? Because 6 is greater than 3. And x1 minus x2, 4 minus 1, which is equal to 3. Is it less than 5? Yes, it is. So what is happening in this case? This particular values of x1 and x2, it is satisfying constraint 2, but it is not satisfying constraint 1. So it is not a solution. On the other hand, if I take another set of examples, say example 2, let's say 1, sorry. Example 1. Sorry? If I say
x1, 2.
Tell me, sorry. Tell me again.
x1, 2 and
Okay.
x2, 1.
x2 is equal to 1. So again, we have to check whether this is a solution or not. So how we will check? We will substitute it here. So if I substitute it in 1, what I will get? 2 plus 2 times 1, which is equal to 4. Is it less than equal to 3? No, it is not satisfied. So if it is not satisfying 1, so it means definitely it will not be a solution. No need to check for second one. But still, let's check. 2 minus 1, which is 1, less than equal to 1. It is satisfying. But as it is not, it is satisfying 2, it is not satisfying 1. So again, this is not a solution. Let's take another example. Say x1 is equal to 4 and x2 is equal to minus 1. Let's see. When we substitute it in 1, what will happen? x1 plus 2x2. 4 plus 2 times minus 1. So what it gives you? 4 minus 2, which is 2. Is it less than or equal to 3? Yeah, it is less than 3. In the second one, if I put x1 minus x2, 4 minus of x2 minus 1. So 4 plus 1, which gives you 5, which is equal to 5. So it satisfies the constraint less than or equal to. So it should be either less than or equal to. Right? So in this case, what is happening? This value of x1 and x2 satisfies both constraint 1 as well as constraint 2. So that's why this is a solution of this LPP. Okay? So this is how you will check whether it is a solution or not. Now, it is a solution. Once it is a solution, if you want to find the value of z, what you will do? You will simply say z is equal to 4 plus 2 times minus 1. So it is equal to 2. 4 minus 2, that is 2. This is the maximum value of z for this solution. Okay, so this is what do we mean by the solution. So we say that any set of values of the decision variable. So in this question, the decision variables were x1 and x2. These were nothing but the decision variables. Okay, that satisfy the constants of LPP. Now, what do we mean by feasible solution? Any solution means, first of all, it should be a solution. Any solution to LPP which satisfy the non-negativity restrictions of the problem is called its feasible solution. So when do we call a solution is feasible? If it satisfies non-negativity restriction. So what is the non-negativity restriction? These are the non-negativity restriction that both x1 and x2 should be greater than or equal to 0. But in our case, x1 is greater than 0, but x2 is less than 0. So this is, although it is a solution, but it is not a feasible solution. Not a feasible solution. So we say that a solution is feasible if both are greater than or equal to 0. It means we can say that if this is, say, if we assume it as a third constraint, it should satisfy this third constraints as well. Okay, is it clear? Screen is slow. Still the problem is, means you cannot see the screen on time. What about others?
Yes, doctor, it's same. It's very slow. You're talking before the screen.
Okay, so means when I'm writing and speaking together, you will not able to see what is happening, huh? Means at the same time.
Yeah, it is normal because you use it that drawing program. It's very slow.
So if I say x1 equal to 4, x2 equal to minus 1, can you see it same time when I'm writing?
You're writing slow, but
No.
same with audio told it's normal. Yeah, maybe it's normal.
Maybe it is due to internet connectivity. I'm not sure. Okay. So
But the
what
writing not become too late then.
okay,
Only
means
the
when
writing
I'm,
becomes late.
because for me when I'm speaking, means on this page I'm writing also. So I think you are seeing the writing later on.
It's not too late. Yeah, it's okay.
Yes,
يعني.
yes.
Okay. Okay then.
Only
So
2
what we
seconds.
saw, this is a solution, but it is not a feasible solution. So why it is a solution? It is a solution because it satisfies both the constraints 1 and 2. Constants 1 and 2. It is not a feasible solution because it does not satisfy non-negativity restriction, which is given by 3, because x2 is less than 0. Okay, so see, this
But
is what we
understand
see.
the excess use of second answer. What is the reason? Because what?
Because x2, the value of x2 is less than 0. It is minus 1. So we say that a solution is feasible if it satisfies non-negativity restriction. It means if it satisfies this condition, we name it as 3. This is nothing but non-negativity restriction. Means our value should be either 0 or more than 0. But here in this answer, we see that x1 is more than 0, x1 is greater than 0, but x2 is less than 0, which is minus 1. So although this is a solution, it is not a feasible solution. Okay? That is,
Miss,
yeah.
every answer should show all answers. What is when I am trying?
No, this is just for your understanding. I'm just clarifying you. Means you don't have to do all these things. If it is asked in a specific question, then only you have to answer it. Okay. So here I'm just clarifying the solution and how do we categorize the solution. Okay. But this may be useful for you for the quizzes that I told you that we will be having some quizzes online. Okay, so it is important for you to understand the basic definitions. That's the reason I am paying attention to this. Okay. Next, optimal solution. So we say when a solution is known as optimal. See, we started with solution, then feasible solution, then optimal solution. All these are solutions only, but they are named different because of they are having some characteristics different than each other. So we say that a solution is optimal. So first of all, optimal solution, it should be a feasible solution. See, any feasible solution, so feasibility is included, means any feasible solution which maximize or minimize the objective function of the LPP is called an optimal solution. So we say that this solution is optimal. First of all, this solution cannot be an optimal solution, not an optimal solution. Can anyone tell me why it is not an optimal solution? See what is written?
Because
Optimal solution. Yeah, yes, please.
because in minus.
Because of minus. Yeah. So what happened because of minus? Because of minus, what happened? It is not feasible. And according to the definition, any feasible solution means a solution should be feasible first. Then only we will talk about optimality. Okay. So any feasible solution which maximize the objective function of the LPP is called the optimal solution. So the solution should be feasible first and then only we talk about optimal or not. Okay. Then we say unique optimum solution. The optimum solution of a linear programming is said to be unique when there exists no other optimal solution. So when there exists only one optimal solution. So this gives an impression that there will be some cases where we can have more than one solution. Okay. So in that case, we will not say that it is having a unique optimum solution. I will explain you these cases with the help of graph, and I hope you had already saw these things in the later slides which are there in the pre-class material. Now when we talk about unbounded solution, means if the value of objective function can be increased or decreased indefinitely, such solutions are called unbounded solution. So easiest way is to understand the unbounded solution is when we are drawing a graph, when we are plotting a graph for the solutions for the LPP, suppose one line is coming like this, another line is coming like this, and this is the region. This is the feasible region, means the region of the solution. Then in this case, as we can see, it is having no boundaries from upward side, so it is unbounded region. This region is unbounded. Hence, any solution lying there will be unbounded solution if it is a maximization. On the other hand, if your region is this one, if this is a region, this will be clearly a bounded region. Hence, any solution lying inside there, in this means it is having a boundaries. So this will be a bounded solution. Now in unbounded region, means again, it may be possible that your region is unbounded, but the solution can be bounded, means you can have a solution or you cannot have a solution. It is depending upon your objective function, depending upon the Z, the objective function. Okay, like for instance, in this region, although it is unbounded, but if your objective function is talking about minimization, in that case it will be a bounded solution because we are looking for the minimum value of Z, which will come at, it can come at any one of these 2 points. But when we talk about the maximum value of Z, the solution will be called as unbounded, because there is no maximum point and hence no maximum solution. I hope you have seen this thing in the graphs as well. Now,
Miss,
alternate optimum solution.
Miss,
Yes.
in that case,
Mm-hmm.
unbounded.
Mm-hmm.
It means that we use it when it was the solution of minimize to want to change it to maximize. We call. Is that right?
Let me explain.
We suppose now have minimize.
Yeah. Suppose our region is this one. Okay, for an LPP, and here the objective function is minimize z equal to any value, say x1 minus 2 x2, means whatever it is there. So what will happen in this case? We have these 2 points. In this case, we have these 2 points A and B. Now, as we are looking for the minimum value, we will check the value at points A and B. So, whichever point give you the minimum value, that will be the solution. So, it means although it is an unbounded region, we will have a finite solution. Okay, this is case 1. Now, in case 2, let the graph will be same. Let the graph will be same. I will write case 1 instead of here. Here, this is case 1. That the objective function is minimization. Now let's write case 2. Objective function is maximize z. Say same, x1 minus 2 x2. So in this case, what we are looking for, see, first of all, what do we mean by the solution? It means the value of x1 and x2. So it means we are, as this is the unbounded region, or we can say feasible region, or we say that region of solution, all means same. We talk about feasible region and the region of solution. In this case, now this is the reason, it means we can, any value lying in this region will be a solution to this problem. Now, we have to select the value of x1 and x2 that will maximize the value of z. So in this region, suppose if I say this is the value, say 10, and say this is the value 20. So I say 10, 20 is the point which lies in this region. Okay, so it will give you some value of z. Then 10, 20 is not the only point. If I say 1000 or 10,000 and 20, it is again a point lying on this region, and the value of z will be more than whatever is at that point. So as the region is not bounded, it is not possible to find one point at which the value is maximum, because whenever you look for a point, it is always possible to find another point at which the value of z will be higher than compared to the value of z at the previous point. So in this case, we say that it is having an unbounded solution. There is an example also in the graphical method. I'll give you that particular example, then it will be more clear. We will see it, okay? Yeah. I hope you got the idea. You got an idea?
It's clear, miss.
Okay, good. Now, when we talk about alternate optimum solution, so the name says that alternate means it is having more than one. So when LPP is having more than one optimal solution, it is said to have an alternate optimal solution. So see, the definitions are hidden inside the name only. So I hope this thing is done and it is clear to all of you, the graphical method of solving an LPP, as I had already explained it, and I'm sure that this material was good enough that the question is clear to you. So first of all, what you have to do is you just need to plot the constants as an equation, means convert the constants as an equation, then plot each equation as a line. And how to plot each equation as a line, I already explained it, and the videos were available in the post class material for the previous week. Okay, then you have to find the feasible region, find the corner points, and then find the value of z at each corner point, and then select the maximum or minimum value. So for this example, anyone is having any question here? I hope these are explained well. See now, for instance, in this example, maximize z is equal to 70t plus 50c. See, it's not necessary that always you have x1, x2 or x or y as a variable. It can be any alphabet, not necessary x or y. By default, it is x and y, but we are free to use any alphabet of our own choice. The only thing is we are keeping z as a standard for denoting the objective function. So what is done in this example is like we have maximize z with two constants and non-negativity restriction. Non-negativity restriction says that all the values lies in the first quadrant. So for example, if I have this as x-axis, this is y-axis. So as I told you last time, in all the LPP, you have the non-negative restriction that x and y both should be greater than equal to 0. X greater than equal to 0, it means the value should be on the right side. Y greater than equal to 0 means value should be on the above the x-axis. Okay, so this is the region that represent x and y greater than equal to 0, or in other words we can say that it is first quadrant. So your solution lies in the first quadrant always, although your lines will cross second, third and fourth quadrant as well, but we will consider our solution only in the first quadrant. Like in this example, see the lines are crossing the fourth quadrant, second quadrant as well, but we will consider solution which is only in the first quadrant. Okay, so because of this non-negativity restriction. Now what was there? There were two constants. So first of all we have to make them equation, find the points lying on the lines and then plot it. So constants were represented. First line was drawn. Then is it clear how to find the feasible region? Is it clear from this video?
Yes, doctor, it's clear.
Okay, anyone to whom it is not clear how to find the feasible region, that this is the feasible region, not the above? If anyone is having question, you can ask me. But I believe it will be clear because it is explained well over here. Okay. Then similarly, the second constant is drawn and then feasible region is obtained. Then what is done? The common region will be the region which is satisfied by both the constant. In this case we were having two, so we selected the region which is satisfied by both the constants. So it is this region. Now in this region, as it is a bounded region, we have four corner points and we will see the value of the function, objective function, at all these four corner points. So we prepare table like this. At all these four corner points we see this is the value, these are the values. Now as in the question, it is maximize z. So what we have to do, from all these values, we have to select the value which is maximum. So the maximum values was at 4 is 4100, which is on the point 30 and 40. So that's why this is selected as a solution. On the other hand, if in the same question, in place of maximization, it become minimization. So 0 is the minimum value and the solution will become 0, 0. Okay. And this is another example. So I believe now the questions are clear to you, this concept. Then there are certain cases, different cases that comes across in the graphical method of solving an LPP. The first one is infeasibility, then unboundedness that I just explained, redundancy, and the alternate or multiple optimal solution. So infeasibility, generally when we say that it is infeasible, so there are multiple names. We call it as infeasibility or no feasible solution or no solution or inconsistent. This will happen when there is no feasible region. For example, I hope that example, the video, it is clear from the video, but still, like if I have maximize z is equal to x minus 2y subject to the constant x greater than equal to say 5, and let's say, what shall I use, y less than equal to say 2, and another one is x is greater than equal to say 25, for example. So when we draw the graph of it, all these are just straight lines. X is equal to 5 will be this. Okay, sorry, let's assume x is equal to 5 is this. This is 5, 10. Then I have to erase this one. Let me do it correctly. So when we plot them on the x-axis and the y-axis, so first of all we have x is equal to 5. So let's say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So x is equal to 5 will be a straight line parallel to x-axis. I just want to make a change here. Instead of greater than equal to, let me make it as less than equal to. So this is the straight line, x is equal to 5. So can anyone tell me the region will be on the right side or left side from this line? The feasible region?
Left side.
Towards the left side. Okay. Okay, good. Then y is equal to 2. So let's say these are the points. Say I will move 2, 4, 6. I'm just using the random scale. So this is the line parallel to x-axis, y equal to 2. So the region will be above or below this line?
Above. Below.
Below, correct. Because it is less than or equal to. Okay, so there's two done. Now x is equal to 25. X is equal to 25 will be a straight line parallel to y-axis passing through x is equal to 25. X is equal to 25. So greater than equal to. So again it will be right side or left side?
Right.
Right side, correct. What about others? You don't have answer or what?
Yeah, we know with you, doctor.
Okay, then good. So in this case, if we talk about the feasible region, So in this case, the region is below this line. In this case, region is towards the left of this line, means all the region is there. That's different, that we are not considering the region below it, below the x-axis and y-axis. And in this case, the region is towards the right side. Okay, so what is happening here? In this case, we are not able to find a single region that satisfy all three constraints. So if we say, if we consider this region is satisfied by, let's say this is 1, 2 and 3. So this region, this green region is satisfied by 2 and 3, constraint 2 and 3. Okay, this region, if we consider on this side, this is satisfied by 1 and 2. Okay, but we are not able to find a region that is satisfied by all three of them. So that's why in this case we say that no common, or we can say feasible region satisfied by all three constraints. Hence, no feasible solution, or you can say the LPP have no solution. LPP has no solution. Okay, so this is the thing. If we are not able to find a common region that is satisfied by all the constraints, then it is a infeasible. So this is the concept here, and I hope it is clear even from the video. Then unboundedness. Unboundedness is same as I explained you here in this examples. Unbounded solution. Here, this is the common region satisfied by all the lines, both the constraints. Okay, and if it is asked for maximization, it is called an unbounded solution. Or do you want, is this clear, or do you want an example? Do you want me to do an example with you? This one? You want me to solve, or is it clear?
Doctor, we need example.
You need example? Okay, fine.
Yeah.
So I think it's better if I take this example.
Let's try from try from minimize to maximize.
The same question?
The same question.
Okay. So let's begin then. If we minimize to maximize, the nature of the problem will change. Let's do it. So the question says, maximize z is equal to 3x plus 5y subject to the constant x greater than equal to 5, y less than equal to 10, and x plus 2y greater than equal to 10 with the constants x, y greater than equal to 0. Let me first solve it with maximization, and then I will tell you what will happen if you make it minimization. Okay? So this is the question. Now what we have to do, first step to graph it, we have to make it as an equation. So what this will become x is equal to 5. This will become y is equal to 10. this will become x plus 2y equal to 10. So it means we need 2 points on this line. So let's find the 2 points on this line. X, y, x0, then one time I will put y as 0. When x is 0, I will get y as 5, and when y is 0, x is 10. So the 2 points will be 0, 5 and 10, 0. Okay, so now we have sufficient things to plot the graph. So let's draw it. This is x-axis. Okay, then we insert y-axis. Okay, then to take these, what do you say, scale, let's scale it as the maximum point is, what happened to this? I don't know. Okay, so here the maximum value for y is 10, and I can see that the maximum value of x is also 10. So let's keep the difference of 5. This is your x-axis. Say 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. Although we don't need that much. 5, 10, 15. This is along the y-axis. Okay. Now first is x is equal to 5. So x is equal to 5 will be a straight line passing through the x-axis parallel to y-axis. Okay. So this is x is equal to 5. This is your x is equal to 5. Y equal to 10 will be a straight line parallel to y-axis, parallel to x-axis, passing through the point y equal to 10. Okay. So this is y equal to 10. So 1 and 2 is done. Now the third one is x plus 2y greater than equal to 10. So first point on this line is 0, 5. Means x is 0. So whenever we write it in this way, it means always the first number denotes the value of x, second one denotes the value of y. X is 0 here and y is 5. It is this one. Then x is 10, y is 0. Just this point. So it will be a straight line joining these 2 points. So let's join it. This is the one. Okay, so this is the third line. Which is nothing but x plus 2y equal to 10. Now it comes to shade the region, the visible region. Let's start with the first one. The first line is x is equal to 5. So this is x greater than equal to 5. X greater than equal to 5 means the value of x is either 5 or more than 5. So if you see here 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. So on the right side, the value of x keeps on increasing. So the feasible region will be towards the right side of this axis. Okay. Similarly, y less than or equal to 10. This is the line where y is equal to 10. Now we are looking for the region which is less than or equal to 10. So if we go upward, the value of y keeps on increasing, but here it keeps on decreasing. So the feasible region is towards the down. This is the feasible region for this constraint. Means all the values that satisfy this constraints will lie below this line or on this line. Now for this one, did I noted the question correctly? Okay, let's see. Now x plus 2y equal to 10. So this is the line where x plus 2y is equal to 10. Now I want the region where x plus 2y is greater than or equal to 10. So as we can see, we can check it simply by selecting a point on either side of the line. This is the line. So we want to know it is above or below the line. So suppose I say the point below the line. And if I put 0, 0 here, what I will get 0 plus 2 times 0, which is 0. Is 0 greater than 10? No. So it means you should move away from this point. So the region is upward. I hope you remember this method of finding the feasible region from the video. Okay. Now the feasible region of solution will be the region, the common region to all three constraints. It means it will be the region where all the arrows are coming in. Okay. So if you look at this region, here you have green arrows and blue arrows, but you don't have red arrows. Red arrows are going outward. So this is not your region. Okay. In this portion, this portion is not at all included. Even this portion is not at all included. In this portion, this red one. So what is happening? Red arrows are coming in. Green arrows will also extend and come up to there. But what about blue arrows? Blue arrows is towards the downward. So even this region is not included. So we can see that clearly. This is the only region where we can find the arrows for each color coming inside. Or in other words, we can say that this is the region which is satisfied by all of the constraints. Note that the region should be in the first quadrant only. You cannot take anything in other quadrants. So this is called a feasible region or the region of solution. Okay. Now what you can see from this region? This region is closed here on this side, but here it is open. Right, from this side there is no limit. X can go up to infinity. There is no restriction on it, whereas it is bounded on the left side. So let's say the points A, point B, point C. But here we cannot bound the region. So can you tell me the coordinates of point A? What will be point A? Point A,
0, 10.
see, A is X is 10 and then Y is 0. Now, how do you find point B? See, at point B, you know the value of X. So point B, the value of X is 5. Now point B is on X is equal to 5 and on this line, which is given by X plus 2Y greater than equal to 0. So if X plus 2Y is equal to 10 and you have X as 5. So it means 5 plus 2Y is 10. So you will get the value of 2y as 10 minus 5. So y will be 5 over 2. So it is 2.5. Similarly, can you tell me what will be the coordinates of point C? Here see, y is 10. You already know the value of y. You only need to find the value of x. So in this case, what you will do? X plus 2 into 10 is equal to 10. So x plus 20 is equal to 10. Am I doing correct? Y is 10, right? Sorry, my bad. Can you tell me the value directly? We don't need to do calculation, it is clear cut. Tell me what will be the value of x here?
5, miss.
It is 5.
Yeah, it's 5. Because it is the point of intersection of x is equal to 5 and y is equal to 10. Unlike here, which is point of intersection of this line and x is equal to 5. That's the reason we solved it. Here it is direct. Okay, so we have the values of a, b and c, but it is unbounded region. So let's make a table. We have the points here. Let me try to make it. Okay. It's not allowed, so let me come back to the pen then. Okay, so what are the points here? Point A. A is the point with 10, 0. Point B, which is 5, 2.5, and point C, which is 5 and 10. Okay. And what is our Z? Let me first write maximum value of Z, which is in the equation, it is 3x plus 5. plus 5y. So if you calculate, if you substitute this value of
Miss,
yes,
miss, your screen not sharing.
Really? I had not done anything. Let me share it again.
It's okay now.
It's okay now?
No, still.
No, still.
Let
With me,
me
no.
close it and then I will share it again. I don't know what happened because I didn't do anything. Tell me now.
Okay,
I was
okay.
okay.
Okay. I don't know what happened. Okay. So when you substitute x is equal to 10 and y equal to 0 here, you will get the value of z as 3 times 10, which is 30 plus 0. If you substitute here x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2.5. Do the calculation and tell me what values you will get. 15, 50, 65 here, and here 15. So I think 27.5. Am I correct?
Yeah, it's correct.
Okay. So what we get? We got the value of at A it's 30, at B on B it's 27.5, at C it is 65. Now we are looking for the maximum value. Okay, so we may say that at point C it is maximum. But C is not the only point which is lying on this region. Any point over here is the point in this region. Suppose I say this point. Say let it be point D. Okay, what will be the value? X is 20 and y is 10. Let me see what will happen at this point. Say 20 and 10. What will happen to the value of Z? It is 60 plus 50, 110. It's increased. So it means D is having a maximum value. Similarly, I can select here. So this will be 30 and so on. It is increasing. So suppose I will say, because all these points are here, if I say this is a point E, where the value of Y is 10 only, but it become 100. So at point E, what is happening? 110. What will happen? The value of Z will become, it is 350, right? Which is again maximum more than 3. So, can you say that this is the highest point in this region? Suppose you say that E is the maximum point. This value of Z is having maximum value at point E. I can always say that no, this is not the maximum value, because it is possible to select a value F where say 1010, where the value of Z will be higher than this, isn't it? 3050, it will be higher. So because this is because this region is unbounded, so it is not possible to find a maximum value. So that's the reason in this case we say that it is having an unbounded solution, as no maximum, we can say it is not possible to find the finite maximum value in this region, as the region is unbounded. It is having a unbounded solution. Okay, now let's see what will be the impact in case this problem change from maximization to minimization. It is minimize, Z is equal to 3x plus 2y. So what I did, everything is same. I just changed maximization to minimization. All remaining thing is same, constraints are same. So you will get the same graph, same feasible region. Okay, now you are interested in knowing the minimum value of the objective function. Then in that case, what will happen? You will consider the value only at A, B and C. Only at these 3 points. You will not go for any other points, because you are looking for the minimum value. And on this points, which is the minimum value? 27.7. So Z is equal to 27.5 is the minimum value. Hence, here the solution is x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2.5 with minimum value of Z as 27.5. So see, simply just by changing the objective function from maximization to minimization, an unbounded solution becomes a finite solution. It was unbounded and it became finite here. In this case, it was unbounded, but it became a finite solution here. Is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Anyone, anything which is not clear,
Yeah.
you can ask me, I can clarify it to you. Clear? No. So tell me what specific thing is not clear. Means minimize to maximize or what?
Yeah, it was confusing with me.
See, now Okay, maximization is clear. How we get unbounded solution?
Yeah, because we didn't take it before, how to maximize and minimize the same question or the same objective.
Okay, that won't be a problem. Now, but this is clear, how do we get unbounded solution, right? Now, in the same question, what
Yeah.
happened? Don't consider it as the same question. Just think that I changed the question. Means there is another question. Instead of this one, you don't have this question. Instead of this, we have minimize. Minimize z is equal to 3x plus 5y. So what will happen? You will work in the same way. You will plot all the 3 lines because we had not changed anything here. So we will get the same region. Right? Feasible region will be same. So what will happen in this form? In this case, we will have only this table. We will have the value at point A, B and C. Then we select the minimum value. So what I mean, if you have this only, then what we will do, we select the value at 10, 0. We will calculate the value of Z as 30. At B is equal to 5, 2.5. We calculate the value of Z as 27.5. And at point C, which is 510, we calculate the value of Z as 65. Then out of this, the minimum value is this one. So this is the minimum value. So we select this as a solution because we are looking for minimization. Okay. Means you don't have to change from maximize to minimize in the same question. I'm just saying that what is the impact of changing from maximization to minimization. I just wanted you to understand that thing. That's why I explained it with the help of same question. Okay.
Yeah, that's the really question, yeah, because you say that explain in your word. It's confusing. You need me to solve the problem, or you need to just to explain it by my word.
See, first of all, you have to solve this like this for the maximization. Okay. Then you can write case 2. Case 2 means in the conclusion cell, when Z becomes minimization. Then what happened? Minimization Z. Then you will do the same thing. You will find the value at A, B and C. Then select the minimum value. That will be your solution. That's it. So this is, you can explain, and then you can write in your own words that as the Z function changes from maximization to minimization, it is possible to find the value of Z, find a minimum value of Z on the points 5 and 2.5. Hence, the solution is x is equal to 5, y is equal to 2.5 with the minimum value of Z as 27.5. I hope it's clear now.
Very clear.
Okay, good.
Yes, miss.
Okay. So still, if it is not clear, you can once again watch this video and I believe it will be clear. But still, if you feel that it's not clear, you can ask me anytime. Okay. Now, next type of graphical method. The type of solution is redundancy. So what we say that the presence or absence of one constraint is not going to affect the solution at all. Like in the same example, I will erase this line later on. Suppose I have one more equation, say x is greater than equal to 1. Then what will happen in this constant if I have additional constant? So it will be a straight line, x is greater than equal to 1. X is equal to 1. And the region will be towards the right side. So is it going to change the region, feasible region, or will it be same? First of all, you got what I did? You understand what I did?
Yes.
Let me repeat because I just wrote it there. What I did, we were having earlier 3 constants. Now I added one more constant, x greater than equal to 1. And then I draw a line for x is equal to 1. Region is towards the right side. Now my question is it going to affect the feasible region?
No.
Means the feasible region will remain same, isn't it? Because towards the right.
Yes. Yes.
So see this portion is not included, which comes due to the x1 x greater than equal to 1. So it is not affecting the feasible region. So in this case, we say this one, we call this constraint x greater than equal to 1 as redundant constraint. Because it is not going to make any changes in the feasible region and hence in the solution. Okay, so this is what is mentioned over here. In this case also we have one redundant constraint that you have to find. Then alternate and multiple solution. In this case what will happen? Everything remains same. The only difference will come is instead of having, when you solve this example, what will happen? I'll just tell you because the procedure is exactly the same. What will happen? How do you know that it is having, the problem is having multiple solution? Suppose this is your x-axis, this is y-axis, and you have these two constraints with the corner points A, O, A, B, C. Okay, and this is your feasible region. Suppose this is your feasible region. Feasible or region of solution. Then when you prepare the table A, what happened to this? Sorry for this. If you make say O, if you get the values of points O, A, B and C. Okay, these are your points. And you calculate the value of Z. It could be maximize or minimize depending upon your question. Then how do you know that it is the problem is having alternate solution or not? Is for example, suppose at 0 the value of Z becomes 0. At point A it is having the value 12. Here it is having the value 24, and on point C, sorry, on point C, it again gives you value 24. So if this condition happens where at two different points it gives you the same value of Z, be it be maximum or minimum, in this case we say that the problem is having alternate or multiple optimal solution. Means all rest of the procedure is same. The only thing that you come to know is towards the end. When you prepare a table at 2 points, if you are getting the same value of Z, it means the problem is having alternate or multiple optimal solution. So what it means, if the value at point B and the value at point C is also having the same value, gives you the same value of z, it means any points, if you take any point joining this line B and C, on each of the point, the value of z will be same. So if you select this point, if you draw it on a proper graph by using a graph paper or by using a software, and suppose you find a point D, at point D also the value comes out to be 24. If you find another point E, at this point also the value will be 24. So it means, in other words, at any point joining B and C, the value of objective function will be same, which is equal to 24. And as there are infinite number of points lying between B to C, we say that it is having multiple optimal solution. So this is the way by which we come to recognize the multiple solutions in a graphical method. I hope you already answered this one. Then, any question from this part? I think none of you are having question related to this, right? So, shall we take a small break for 10 minutes and then we return back and see the next topic? Quick break.
Okay.
10 minutes, huh? Not more than that. Just go get some water.
Tea break.
Okay, doctor.
Just a tea break. 10 minutes, huh?
Okay.
Okay, so see you at 6:25. I think you are having questions over here. Okay, we will do this thing after the break. Just a quick break.
Which time?
Just 10 minutes, 6:25.
6:25?
Yeah, prayer time is what? Okay, let's take this break and then we will see.